how are you guys today? I am going to talk about why I like to thrift and why I like to buy clothes from a thrift shop. Now, rush There's the dolphin right there. All right, so there are lots of different reasons to buy your clothes from a resale shop, a thrift shop, however you want to call it. Now, number one, which everyone probably knows of, is it's cheaper. You can get shirts and pants for anywhere from, $1 to $5, and sometimes they're more, sometimes less. If you go somewhere other than like the Goodwill, a lot of times they'll have stuff a bag for $1, which is an amazing deal. But that is not the one and only reason I shop at a thrift shop. It is great to stretch your dollar and make it go so much further, but you can also find items of clothing that are unique and special to just you and your style, and it's not just something off the rack that you're gonna see 20 other people wearing if you go to Walmart. Like you've all done that, where you buy a dress from Walmart or something, and then that summer, everyone is wearing that same Walmart dress, which is fine, especially if you love the dress, wear it, enjoy it, who cares? But like pieces like this, which you may hate this, I love this, I would not have been able to find this in the stores, but I got this at a thrift shop and I love it. It is my favorite sweater to wear and I wear it all the time. So this is not something that I would have purchased just because it was cheap. If I had seen this in a store for $50, I would have still wanted it. So the fact that I got it for like $1 is just a huge bonus. So I love that you can find so many unique things that will just really complement your style and your style alone. Another thing that you can find at thrift shops that you cannot buy at a first-time store is vintage wear. If you are into vintage clothing, this is a great place to shop for vintage clothes. I found a cardigan set from the 1950s that I think is absolutely adorable. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit me the best, so I'm probably going to have to sell it if I can. I'll try and link that below if you are interested in seeing some of the vintage clothes that I have purchased that I can't actually wear, so I'm gonna sell. But you can find some beautiful vintage pieces. I have found a vintage coat, I found several vintage sweaters, some vintage skirts. I love my vintage skirts, by the way. No way I'm selling those. Which brings me to actually my next reason for buying resale is my skirts, for instance, were not the right size. But I was able to take them in and tailor them to make them fit me, and I wasn't too uptight about it, because I didn't pay that much for it. So if I ruined the skirt, it was kind of like, oh well, I tried. And I would have been sad because I really liked the skirt, but at least I didn't just throw, $30 or more out the window if it didn't work. And I have kind of a unique size, so sometimes even going and buying something like off the rack, it doesn't fit me quite right. I'm awkwardly tall, but not tall. I am 5'8", and I'm slender, but talls are a little too long for me because I'm not technically considered a tall as far as clothing goes. But then the regular size clothing, I'm too tall for. I'm kind of in between. So I either have to go with it's too long or it's not long enough. And it just puts me in this weird place. And a lot of times I just try and tailor them to me to make them work better. But, in the past when I've done that and I spent like $50 on a pair of pants and then I have to cut them up and sew them up, it hurts. It hurts to spend that much money and then have to do all this work, and sometimes it doesn't even work out because I'm not the best seamstress. I try, but I'm not the best. And I know you can take them to an actual seamstress and get it done, but that's just even more money. So that's another thing buying used is if I only paid $1 or $2 for that, I also do not mind then taking it to a seamstress and having her do it upright or taking it to the dry cleaner. I don't mind investing some more money into it to get it tailored just right for me, because I didn't spend hardly anything on it initially. So that's another great way to get good looking clothes that fit you at a very affordable price. So yeah, buying used and vintage does not mean you have to look like, you don't have $1 to your name and stuff. There's just so much more to it than that. And then, okay. All right, and then the last-ish final point for buying resale is the impact on the environment. So when you buy new clothes from the store, it's just we're constantly consuming them and then just discarding them. And if nobody uses those discarded clothes, they all just wind up in trash piles, who knows where, in piles, and just yeah. Imagine that, just cluttering, and it's just more trash, unnecessary trash. And especially if you're buying really trendy pieces, we tend to buy them, wear them for a season or two, and then just discard them. So if you're buying used, you help cut down on that, because these clothes are already in circulation. These clothes have already been loved by somebody else, and now you can revitalize them. You can transform them and make them your own without having to add to the pile of more and more clothes. And it just gets more use out of it. It's more sustainable and just overall better for the environment, which kind of goes along with the ethics of where the clothes come from. So I know a lot of people are super uptight about the fast fashion and where those clothes are coming from. And then now we also have a lot of companies that take really strong stands on certain political issues that you may not be happy with. Buying resale, I feel like, really helps eliminate supporting anything like that you don't wish to support. As long as the thrift shop that you are purchasing from is not supporting things that you dislike, then you know you aren't supporting those things. Even if you're wearing something from a company that did initially, that outfit has already been used, it's already been discarded, and at this point you're not really supporting it, you're just saving it from being in a landfill. So I feel better about buying from a Christian thrift shop that's just a church, and I know that money is going to like missions or to help support, you know, something that I want to help support. I just feel like it's a better use of my money to know my money's doing this instead of this that I don't really want to do. So that's another great reason to buy resale. And I kind of feel like those all that goes together, that last point. So those are all my reasons that I enjoy buying resale. And I don't always buy resale. For instance, this black tee I'm wearing, it came from, I think, Eddie Bauer. I like to buy a few classic staple pieces from different places, but I like to try and buy a good quality piece that's going to last me a very long time. So like a black tee would be one of those, a white t-shirt. A lot of times I like to buy a good pair of jeans, but honestly, all of the jeans that I own right now all came from the secondhand store, and I love all of them better than anything that I could have found at the store. It was like they were just made for me. They fit me so perfect. I've never had that much luck with jeans before. So I was amazed to be able to get 3 pair of jeans that were like made for me from the resale shop. But another thing is, like I was saying earlier, it doesn't mean that you have to look really junky or like, you know, you're bumming it or anything like that. You can find great pieces at the thrift store that are beautiful and look very nice. Some of them are actually very expensive clothes that somebody for some reason got rid of, and a lot of times you can even find clothes that still have tags on them. So even though you're maybe the second owner, you're still the first person to actually ever wear it. So that's another great thing. I love it when I find pieces that still have tags, and I have several pieces like that they had tags on them still. I hope that helps. I hope you guys will, if you don't already shop at the thrift store, maybe give it a try, see what you can find. It does take a little bit of time. You do have to kind of go and just look through everything, because it's not the easiest always to shop. But it's really kind of like going on a treasure hunt, and when you do find great pieces, it feels so good and so exciting, and it just makes shopping fun, and you don't have to feel bad about how much you spent, because you usually don't spend hardly anything. But I am actually going to be kind of trying to, I think I'm just going to start a new Instagram page and not use my old one. I'm going to start an Instagram page though with all of my thrift and like vintage finds, mostly vintage, and just kind of showcase them and maybe try and show ways to put them together as an outfit and not look old-fashioned necessarily, but you know, take them and make them new and make them yours. And obviously the way you would maybe want to style it would be different than mine. So, you know, share those on your Instagram and let everyone see how you style it. That's the great thing about the time period we live in, is there is no one way you have to dress. You know, all the other times were very distinct clothing, but nowadays there's so many options. It's really fun to put outfits together. So once I get that Instagram page up, I'll link it below as well if you are interested in kind of following along on my vintage and resale outfit making. And I will see you all soon in another video. Bye.